everyone. This is Jackie Cooper with Crypto 2 Talk Show and the Blockchain Legal Institute. I want to welcome everyone to this conversation and ask that you like and subscribe because there are many wonderful conversations that are in the queue. And I want to make sure you have the enjoyment and the knowledge of what is happening in our community. So today I have a special guest on who's been with me before on this talk show, and Dr. Smithmeyer is an incredible author and also a professor and also very knowledgeable in terms of laws and regulations. And he's also going to be one of our panelists at the upcoming October 24th event, even though for those of you that are listening to this today, it might be after October 24th, but I still invite you to visit www.bli.tools, the Blockchain Legal Institute's website, because we are going to have at least 2 virtual broadcasts every year that are going to be on topics relevant to the growth of our community. And we're going to have, speakers from all parts of the world. So for those that are new to Crypto 2, I'll share a little bit of background about myself, and then we're going to hop over to the conversation of today. I'm a non-traditional lawyer. I do law, but in not a traditional way. I'm a blockchain consultant and really a blockchain education consultant. I author the Bitcoin Cinderella books. I just came back from Bermuda, had the honor of speaking there about fintech and fairy tales and the need to educate our youth on the terminology and the background knowledge that they need for understanding blockchain, because these are the career paths that exist now and will be existing in the future. So we need to make sure that our youth understand the possibilities and the area of creativity that exists. But I'm also the CEO of the Blockchain Legal Institute, and it's a centralized library of resources, and you'll find a number of articles by Dr. Smithmeyer as well as books that are published by him, with links so you can go and you can obtain and enjoy. It is a centralized library because whether you're looking at artificial intelligence, Bitcoin, Ethereum, blockchain use cases, the laws in the United States or around the world, there is a ton of resources, and this is there was a need. And so that's why we created BLI. But enough about me. Today, we are all about what Dr. Smithmeyer is doing. And I appreciate your being on, Chris. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. Thanks for having me back on, especially right before the mini conference, because that's getting really. I got to meet some of the other panelists, and you brought together a dream team of people in the crypto world.
I am amazed as to their diversity. I just got off a call with an attorney from Spain who has been in this space for, over a decade. And then I had another call with an individual from Wales. And then I had a call with an attorney who happens to be in the Nordic area. And he had the insight, years ago that this was an area of law that people needed to be aware of. And his law firm was thinking, oh, why? It's just one faceted, crypto. And he said, no, there's NFTs, there's metaverse, there's DAOs, there's other things developing. And just like you are such a prolific writer and content, knowledgeable in all these areas, he also, he's going to be one of the speakers. And so I know that the discussions on this panel, it's going to be very rich. So you've just released a book. You want to talk to us more about that? I'm really, I remember when you were creating it and now it's out. So tell us more.
It's really exciting. It's actually the 8 books. It's an encyclopedia. I remember whenever I was back in school and getting in trouble, and we had a teacher named Mr. Kaczynski who, if you got in trouble, rather than making you sit there and do nothing, he made you copy encyclopedias verbatim, page by page, as punishment. And I'm like, who in the world writes these things? And now, nearly 40 years later, I'm one of the guys that writes them. So hopefully if a kid's sitting there being punished, making them copy out of my book, hopefully they learn something. And one of the reasons that I started this project is because I go to a lot of places, as you know, and I talk to a lot of people about cryptocurrency. And there's so many questions about what terms mean, whether you're starting with basic terms like what's a token or what's a coin? What's the difference? People use the same words, and it's like, well, they're two different things. And then, or you could get complicated to looking at 51% attacks and ZK snarks and stuff like that. People needed something. And if you went to Investopedia, it had some of the stuff. If you went to Cointelegraph, it had some of the stuff. But really, to have a physical book that you could flip through, because a lot of these TradFi lawyers don't want to just go online and look something up, because let's face it, everybody's been burned by a wiki where somebody went in and changed what the meaning of a word was. Let's have something physical. Let's have something that people can't mess with. And I really thought that that was kind of the ultimate embodiment of the blockchain, because you can't mess with the blockchain once it's minted. Once a book's printed, you can't really mess with it. So it's kind of the old world version of what the blockchain is
Love
for
it.
our information
I
repositories.
I love that visual of the immutable, which is, a blockchain term for those that might not be familiar with that, but it's something that can't be changed. So, and I know how much time and effort that this, you put into this, and I know how valuable a resource is going to be. I mean, in writing the Bitcoin Cinderella adventure stories, I was in a small way attempting to introduce vocabulary through the fairy tale aspect. But for sure, again, having your encyclopedia as a QR code in the back of Bitcoin Cinderella is going to be invaluable, because these books are stepping stones to what is going on online. And, again, we can give definitions, but then how do you apply those definitions? What are you doing with the terms and the application? So it's like anything else, that we learn in school, then you have to take it one step further. And for, like you said, for attorneys or those professionals servicing the blockchain community, it is important. You have to start somewhere, just like in law school, you have to start somewhere. And then you can experience through the practice of law, through working with clients, through the changes that happen in policy, through the changes that happen because of legal precedents, not just here in the States, but in other parts of the world. So I know you've seen a lot. Where do you see your encyclopedias going? And do you think that you're going to do another one, or are you writing the next book?
Well, actually, right after we put out the encyclopedia, I got a letter from my publisher. I don't have a copy of the encyclopedia with me, because as soon as I buy them, they sell out. You brought up a picture of it.
Yeah.
Wings of the Digital Age, the first book we put out. We've been asked to write a sequel to it. We're calling it Dragons 2 Vindication, because all 8 predictions we made in the first book happened. And it's like, we're not magic. We can see, like, businesses can see what's coming. Please take advice. Don't get tripped in with places like FTX and things that have these really weird business models that aren't stable.
Yeah.
But for where I see it being used, I wrote it so it could be used at multiple different levels. Each entry starts with the definition of the word. Then it has the etymology of the word, where the word came from, because a lot of times people don't understand, like, why computer terms are the way they are, and they get them mixed up with physical world terms that have different meanings. And we have our own language in the digital space. It can
Yeah.
be a pain in the butt, but
It's
it
very
is. Then
deep.
there is a full entry explaining it. It's not just a definition. There is a full, some of them are up to 2-page long explanations of different thoughts within the field to walk you through it. And then, having a background in research, one of the big things that I went through and did personally for every single article was I put additional reading on the topic, where you can go follow an article and get started on learning more than just what I put out there. Because one of the most dangerous things in academic is whenever one person puts a stamp on something and says, this
Yep.
is what the rules are, this is what it is.
Yep.
And I want people to go out and do their own research. Maybe they'll find a take on something like Python that is different from my take on it. And the more you research yourself, the more you're going to retain. Because while I think it is an excellent resource, and I hope a lot of people go out there and read it, I have never had the intention of being the be all and end all on any given subject. And I know a lot of authors want to be that. I don't. I want people to go out there and I want to be the starting line, not the finish line.
I think that multiple resources, we say that again and again in our community, use multiple resources to verify both the facts and the information, because if you are not able to re-verify it, then more than likely it's been distorted some way. So, you used a term, and so it kind of segues me into a whole nother area. You said stable. So talk to me about stable coins. Talk to me about a project that you're working on that I think is very interesting and fascinating as well. So for those that don't know what a stable coin is, do you want to kind of give a quick overview?
Sure can. A stable coin is a coin based on a independent variable. I guess is the easiest way to do it if you want to come from a statistic thing. The easy way to do it if you're not a statistics head like I am is a coin based on something that is stable, which is why it's called stable coin.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of ways to do it. I do have a book out on it called the Stablecoin book. I wrote it because there are a couple people down in a place called Washington that are writing stablecoin laws that have no idea what stablecoins are. And I wrote it and sent it to their offices. Wrote it in 4 days, 500-page book, 4 days. Completely burnt myself out.
I'll have to
But
ask you, did you use ChatGPT at all to help you with the writing?
I use it to edit. I use it extensively to edit. It's really important. I teach my college kids to do this. Like, there's all these professors out there, like, oh my goodness, you can't use it to edit, and it's like, it's such a tool. It would be like, I remember whenever I started like in high school, and I had teachers that are like, you can't use a word processor. That's cheating. You have to use a typewriter. And it's like, no, teach these kids to use these tools. Teach them
Yeah,
to use them properly.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's a big thing. But with stable coins, what you want is you want something that has a value that a business can work off of. Because right now, I love Bitcoin. I love Ethereum. We built our chain on Solana. Like, I love these major layer one, layer two options. But if I don't know whether Solana is going to be worth $30 today or $20 today, and I am the guy that runs the grocery store, how do I price my bottle of water? Is it zero point 0.1 Solana or 0.05 Solana?
No, it's true.
Stable coins solve that problem. They say, okay, I know it's going to be 1 Kyros, which is what our token is going to be worth about $1.35. So if this bottle of water costs $1, then I know that it will cost about 0.92 Kyros.
You know what
And I put that price tag out there.
this reminds me of
And
when
that's
you
really,
travel to Europe and you exchange your
yep,
dollar for euros, and you know that $1 equals a certain amount of euros, and it might go up and down. So the stable
yeah.
coin is in the same, to me, it's very similar to currency, traditional currency that you're trading back and forth. So
And that's always the goal, is because you don't want people to be confused. Like, as people are transitioning from being physical natives to digital natives, which sounds really funny because we're not using the term native, right? But hey, that's what the terminology is. That's why we have an encyclopedia. Um, as people are making that transition, a lot of people are afraid. They might not tell you they're afraid, but it makes them nervous because they don't know, well, what's going to happen with my money? Is it going to turn out like Terra, or is it going to turn out like Doge, where you buy in for 1/1000th of a cent and it ends up being worth 70 cents the next week? Everybody loves that. Nobody liked buying in at $200 for Terra and it being worth less than a millionth of a cent 3 days later. Those are speculative coins. Those are still an important part of the ecosystem. I have a lot of people think, oh, you're trashing on these speculative coins. It's like, no, I'm not. That's part of the ecosystem. That's part of what keeps the blockchain moving. That's what keeps people buying data blocks on the blockchain.
so I'm just going to interrupt. This show is
Good.
educational, not financial advice, not investment advice, not legal advice. Now keep going.
Okay. Yeah, definitely research anything for financial advice, because everybody has a different opinion. They're like something else out there that everybody has one of. But whenever you get into the stable coin, this is what gives people the ability to take their digital assets and convert them into physical goods. because it's more likely that a vendor is going to take a stable coin than it is taking a speculative coin like XRP or something like that. Not because there's an inherent problem with speculative coins, but because it's really hard to put that price tag on the shelf if it's going to change 3,000 times a day. Stores are still putting paper price tags out there until they start putting digital price tags up on things, which I don't know how they're going to do that with that little piece of paper. You need something that's stable, and this is a transitionary step between the physical world and the digital world, and we hope to be part of that. Once again, like I said, we have no intention of being a Borg coin or we're going to take everything over. We want to be a lubricant to help people move into the digital world,
So you
and
mentioned,
really what we're out there is for is help. Go ahead.
yeah, so you mentioned Kairos. You're also involved with another project, the Black Wallet. You want to share a little
Yes.
bit, you want to share a little bit more about where that's going? And for everyone who's listening, on the audio side, definitely, hop on over to the video side too, but know that there are going to be contact information, and in the blog below. So that way you can kind of do your own research and check things out. So anyway, so what's going on with this other new project that you're working with?
Well, Black Wallet is the ecosystem management company for Kairos. So Kairos is one really important part of the greater ecosystem we're building. Black Wallet is a series of companies that we're building out to help bring digital operations into the physical world. So we're tying a lot of pieces together. One of the pieces is the DEX, one is a social media, one is a resource management company, one is an investment company to manage the asset pool for Kairos. And all of these pieces come together into what we're calling Black Wallet, which was a very funny naming thing because we're like, oh, we want to put people where they can put their wallets in the black. And then being people that were physical natives at the time, whenever we started building our company out, we did not think that one of the most common words in the cryptoverse is wallet. So I get about 10, 15 calls a day asking me, well, what chain does your wallet work on? And we are building a wallet for the DEX, but we actually aren't a wallet company. Like right now, if you called me and said, what wallet should I use? I recommend MetaMask or Solarflare or Phantom are the big wallets that I use personally. And if you want a custodial wallet, I love Coinbase. Once again, not financial advice. The way some of these crypto companies are, you never know what's going to happen with them. But those are ones that have been around for a long time and seem to have a very good business model. And they also seem to have a presence in the United States, which whenever I'm doing analytics of crypto companies, I always look, I'm like, where are they based and do they have a subsidiary in the United States? Because if they have a subsidiary in the United States, they have to answer to US laws. And if that's what you're comfortable with, that's what you're comfortable with. There are countries in the world where it's kind of wild, wild west still. And I'm always very careful with that. But yeah, the Black Wallet has been a great journey. I get to speak on it all the time. And we really are using it to bring pieces together because we have a strong belief that diversity is strength in a company. However, if you over diversify in what your holdings are, your company starts to lose who it is. And this is with holdings. This is not with personnel. We also believe a very diverse staff is very useful too. And so what we did was we decided to modularize the company so that each piece could specialize in what it does, but the whole ecosystem can still maintain its diversity. And so far, it's worked out really well.
So there might be individuals that don't understand what a DEX is. So why don't you go ahead and help people understand what a decentralized exchange is?
Okay, well, a DEX is a really cool concept that we can only do because of computers. So, and that was partially sarcasm, partially not, because the first real decentralized exchange what happened in a little town called Baghdad over in Iraq. It was called the Bazaar of Baghdad. It was the biggest marketplace in the world, and no one ran it. It just ran properly. Different merchants hired security guards to walk around and take care of things and make sure there were no problems. And it was one of the examples of the potential of humanity. I heard one person stand up and say, "This was the greatest example of humanity working together to make the world a better place." And it's like, wait, no, no, they also sold slaves at the Bazaar of Baghdad. That's a bad thing. So it wasn't this wasn't the pinnacle. It was a stepping stone. What we see with a DEX is we've taken that concept, not the slavery part, but the humanity working together part, and put it to where no one is in total control. The community is setting the guidelines, it's setting the rules, and it's setting the standards. And what that does is it allows for, because of the computers, the matching ability of people that are buying and selling different commodities, whether it's crypto, whether it's crypto derivatives, whether it's there's even some stock dexes coming out now, commodity dexes. And what you can do is trade, and it'll match them together, match the prices together for what your offer is and what the demand is, and bring everything together in a nice little dashboard you can have on your computer or your smartphone. So all you have to do is push, I have 25 Bitcoin, I want to sell it for 29,500. And it finds somebody that's out there saying, I really want 29 Bitcoin for $29,000. Now, I don't know anybody that has that much Bitcoin because it's a ton of money. But that's what a DEX does. And it can do it with millions and millions of dollars, like in that example, or it can do it with like 12 cents if you're trading a whole bunch of shit new.
So yeah, my
It
question
is
is it how you describe it seems like there's an embedded artificial intelligence within the DEX in order to be able to pair and match people. Is that true, or
it's a ghost within the machine.
a
It's
ghost within
it's
the
it
machine?
comes across
Okay,
as intelligence, but it is just machine learning putting pieces together.
got it.
There are a couple of dexes coming out that are AI backed and AI front end.
Okay.
With an AI front end, what the AI does, remember Clippy from Microsoft, that annoying little paperclip that popped up and said, "Hey, I can help you write."
Yes.
That's what front ends do. They help you with what you want to do. They explain to you how you do it, but they don't do it for you.
Ah, okay.
This is the safer option right now, because right now we do not have a whole lot of control over AIs, and AI is such a unique field, and there's so much cool stuff going on with it. Like, we could talk for days about that.
And I cannot wait
Whenever
to create the next Bitcoin Cinderella about AI, because that's going to be an amazing learning experience for me. So who knows? Maybe I'll even write. No, I don't think I'll write the Bitcoin Cinderella on AI because I value my copyright and IP. So anyway.
so the other end of this is back end support, where the AI actually makes trades for you. And there are systems of bots out there that do that. I mean, they've been around for about 3 years now, so
Yeah.
predating ChatGPT and OpenAI. These bots are super cool, and they take information from different APIs across the internet, and they make decisions based on where they think movement will be based on historical patterns and what the news is. The reason that they scare me currently is because I've watched them make disastrous mistakes.
Yeah.
Because the awesome thing about the market is it is organic. If you ask me how many people are involved in the market, I would tell you that we just crossed the 8 billion people mark on the market, because every single person on the planet is involved in the market by what they buy, what they sell, and what they do for a living. Even the babies are just eating out of a bottle. That changes the market. Any one of those variables becoming an outlier can change the static index for the trading pattern, which means we can have a problem. The other problem that we face is there are bad actors in the space
Yeah.
that look at how machine learning works, and they make tricks.
Yeah.
And tricks aren't just for kids anymore, they're now for computers too, because people are tricking bots into thinking that there's going to be a dip or there's going to be a rise, and then exploiting that with either longs or shorts.
Yeah. No, I
This
think
may
people always need to be involved with this. You and I can talk forever, and we are going to have more shows for sure. Any last minute thoughts that you want to share? I know we covered your encyclopedia, we covered Black Wallet, we covered your token, solid, your stable coin rather. So any other last minute thoughts? Because you're working on so many really high level projects?
Well, first of all, I hope everybody goes to the Blockchain Legal Institute conference and goes even watches the replay of it because there's going to be some exciting people there.
Yeah.
Please take time to go check out www.kiroscoin.com. So that's KIROSCOIN.com, and check out what we're doing. There's a lot going on there. We're involved with so many partnerships because this community is coming together so tightly. We're actually, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, going to be announcing a study abroad to Australia from one of the major universities here in the United States. So we're really excited about that. And check us out. Make sure to go to the BLI website and check out what they're doing over there because it is amazing. And there's a lot of interesting people that Jackie's interviewing. And just stick with the crypto market because the bear seems to be over, and it's about time for the bulls to show some horns.
Again, not legal advice, not investment advice. Do your research, but you can at least now research it with the encyclopedia as well as with the Blockchain Legal Institute. So everyone, thank you so much for listening. Definitely ask your questions because we're here to answer them or provide resources to you so that way you can provide the answers to yourself, because that is the best way to learn and to discover. And as I always say at the end of all my shows, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're also interconnected. We're all part of one world, and now more than ever.